Hello and welcome back to the Posturecise crash course. This is video 1 of a 3-part series. So video 1 today is all about habits and how to create a healthy posture habit for life. Now don't roll your eyes, this video is just as important, if not more important, than all of the videos in the series. In fact, this video may literally change your life if you let it. So let me explain. When we're creating a habit out of our posture exercises, which I term Posturecise, we need to hardwire it into the brain so that it becomes a habit much like brushing your teeth. Now I use this analogy a lot because it's really easy to grasp. So when we have our breakfast, we don't think about it. We just go and we brush our teeth before work, and we brush our teeth before bed, and maybe after lunch. That's something that we've been doing for many, many years, and we trust that we will continue to brush our teeth until the moment we check out. So here's a really fun little challenge for you. I want you to brush your teeth this week with the other hand. If you're right-handed, that will be your left hand. If you're left-handed, it will be with your right hand. This is something I do frequently because not only does it help to wake up the brain and help the brain learn, it will teach you a lot about what it means to hardwire a new habit. You'll feel uncoordinated, it will feel awkward, your arm will get tired. These are all the same kind of symptoms we see when we're trying to create a new exercise habit. So this is crucial. We're going to learn how to hardwire your Posturecise habit into the brain so that you know you're not going to give up on yourself in 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, and end up right back to where you began before you did the Posturecise course. I want you to be successful. So let's look at why Posturecise. Why bother creating a habit? So there are 2 reasons I want you to create a Posturecise habit for life. And then we'll look at the 3 steps that are absolutely key to creating the habit. The cue, the behavior, and the reward. We'll do that shortly. But first of all, why? Why do I want you to create a habit with the Posturecise exercises? Well, 2 reasons. The first is that sitting is the new smoking. Now, I wish I coined that term, but it was Dr. Martha Grogan from the Mayo Clinic in the United States. She's a cardiologist. Now, first of all, I want you to think about yesterday. If yesterday was a weekday when you're watching this, think about how many hours you sat. So you woke up, maybe you sat for breakfast, then you sat on the train or in the car to commute to work, and then how many hours in total did you sit at work? Even if you had breaks, was it 7 hours, 8, 10 for you long day workers? Then what about the commute home? Then add on sitting for the meal with the family, sitting to read, to watch television. Add them all up. Just take a moment now. And when you've got your number, say it out loud. Was it 16? 12? 10? 14? Well, Dr. Martha Grogan warned us that for those of us who sit for prolonged periods, and that was defined as more than 11 hours, easily done for the average office worker, that we had the same risk of cardiovascular disease as those who smoked. Yikes. There's a lot of research right now on sitting and prolonged sitting. There was a huge Australian study done in 2012 on over 200,000 people over the age of 45. That's me, I'm afraid. And what they found was that those who sat for prolonged periods, again, that was 11 hours a day, they had a 40% increased risk of death in the next 3 years compared to those who sat for only, ready, 4 hours a day. Now, how is that even possible? So, Posturecise and creating it as a habit for life is crucial when we think about the effects of prolonged sitting. So, what's reason number 2? Correcting your posture takes time. Now, it took years for it to get this way, maybe 10, 20, 30 years to get this way. It's going to take time. There is no quick fix. I know that's what everybody wants, and that may be even why you came to do the crash course. And that's okay. That's natural. It's human behavior. We want answers, and we want them fast. But posture isn't like that. The structure of the spine and the body took time to get the way it is now, and it's going to take time to get back to ideal, to correct, to improve your posture. And all of that will also depend very much on the things that have happened over a lifetime. So what kind of habits you've had, the kind of nutrition that you've had, whether you were regular exercises, what accidents you've had. But I absolutely do know if you create Posturecise as a habit that you look forward to doing every single day, you will get results. You'll get good results, and more importantly, you'll get results that last permanently. Okay, so now I want you to watch this short podcast, about 5 or 6 minutes. This is going to teach you how to create a new habit, and that habit's Posturecise in this case. And then come on back, because I have something more to tell you before we complete video 1 in the series.
Hi everyone, I'm Paula Moore, the Posture Doctor, today talking about habits you want to change. Now you may be wondering why I'm talking about habits, and that's a very good question. Because good posture is a habit. I know that sounds a little wacky, but just go with it for now, and later in this podcast, I'll tell you how you can make good posture your new habit. But first, I want to credit Charles Duhigg and his book, The Power of Habit, for this podcast. This podcast is the 5-minute version of his book, but do buy his book because it is full of brilliance that you can use to change bad habits and create new habits that work in your life. And soon, I'll share with you how you can make good posture your new habit, so stay tuned. So Charles tells us habits can be changed if we understand how they work. He explains that at one time, probably way back, we made a choice the first time we did a certain behavior, but that over time, that behavior became wired into our brains neurologically, so strongly that it became automatic, a habit. As a great example, have you ever sent a text message meant for one person to the wrong person? It's simply because you are conditioned to send text to that one person. In other words, it's a habit and almost automatic to send a text to Jack because you're used to doing it. And by mistake, this time you told Steve he was sexy. Don't worry, we've all done it. In The Power of Habit, you learn that habits form part of a loop made up of a cue, time of day, a certain location, a person you're with, an event or an emotion, followed by a routine, the habit itself, like eating a chocolate bar, brushing your teeth, checking email, which shoe you put on first, exercise, brushing your hair, or driving to work. And the final part of the loop, the reward, having a Kit Kat break, tingly breath from brushing your teeth, satisfaction from emails being answered, feeling energized after exercise, etc. So the loop is cue, routine, reward. Rewards can be physical sensations or emotional feelings. So that cigarette reward may be the nicotine or the sense of calm that you get. Charles Duhigg tells us that by learning to observe the cues and rewards, we can begin to change the routines. So one habit that I've been thinking of changing is my sugar craving habit. So let's break it down. I've been observing the loop, the cue, routine, reward, because this is what Charles says is the first step in habit changing. So yesterday I got the cue twice. Once around 4:30 when I was feeling a bit stressed and had just finished a computer task. And the second time I got the cue was about 7 p.m., just before I'd had dinner following a swim in the sea, and I was feeling happy and relaxed. Remember to look at the location, who you were with, the emotion you're feeling, the event, and the time for your cues. I do know that my usual time for my sugar cravings, and Charles tells us that cravings drive habits, is mid-afternoon usually. I'm almost always alone, so I don't think the cue is with people. And I've almost always finished a challenging work task, and I want to take a relaxing break. So my 7 p.m. craving, I think that was more to do with low blood sugar and having just exercised and it being dinner time. So far it's early days in my own habit observations. I think the likely cue for me is time of day and finishing a work task. But I did mention creating the habit of good posture, right? So I'm getting to that shortly, but just quickly, Charles tells us that to change a habit, you must keep the old cue and rewards and insert a new routine. So if my cue for cake turns out to be time of day and the reward is relaxation, all I need to do is start playing with different routines and see which provide the relaxation I desire. As an example, I could try listening to music for 10 minutes, or meditating, or taking a quick walk, or even trying a healthier food option. As I said, it's early days. So you now have an idea of how to change a habit you don't want, but what about the habits you do want? What if that habit is good posture? And I do maintain that good posture for most people is a habit. So let's go back to Charles's loop. You'll need a cue, a routine, and a reward. So this is how I created my good posture habit. My cue is waking up, because for me, if I left it until the end of the day, I know I'd be way too tired and I'd talk myself out of exercise. My routine, which I've been developing over the last decade, and which you can now join me doing, is Posturecise. So that's my routine. Every morning before I dress or shower, I do my Posturecise. So what's the reward? So many rewards. I look in the mirror and I like what I see. It wasn't always that way. My body feels supple. I get very stiff if I don't Posturecise every day. And it makes me feel really happy and healthy because I know I'm being proactive about my health and not waiting for a problem. So there you have it. Want the habit of good posture? Then choose an easy cue. When you wake, your 11 a.m. work break, the drive home from work. Choose a routine. That's Posturecise for me. And then reap the reward. Weight loss, more confidence, looking and feeling younger, less fatigue, compliments from others. I'll leave you with this quote from Charles Duhigg from his excellent book, The Power of Habit. Sometimes change takes a long time. Sometimes it requires repeated experiments and failures. But once you understand how a habit operates, once you diagnose the cue, the routine, and the reward, you gain power over it.
So what did you think? You looked at the cues, behaviors, and rewards. And now it's time to do the work. And this could take some time. You know, it took me a few years to really hardwire the Posturecise habit. I played with different cues, and for me, ultimately what worked as a cue, and you can use time of day, person, place, or thing. It might be when you come home and you see your husband. It might be when you meet up with a friend. It might be a certain time in the afternoon. For me, it's the very first thing in the morning when I literally roll out of bed. I have some hydration, some water, and I start my Posturecise right then. That really worked for me. You play with yours. The behavior, of course, is Posturecise, the very exercises you're learning in this course. And then the rewards, where they're going to be different. And that's something that you're going to look for. For me, it's a total sense of well-being and a real trust that my body can heal. So play with that. Underneath the video, you'll notice there's a link to a blog post on motivation. I hope you enjoy that one. And then download the homework, the worksheet that's going to help you set up your new Posturecise habit and use the 3 new tools, the cue, behavior, and reward. And leave some comments. Let's get some discussions going. Ask me your questions. And then in 2 days' time, don't forget to check your inbox for the next video on how to get rid of forward head posture. And we're going to look at why this is so important. So don't miss that one. See you soon. Bye-bye.